Salut à vous, très heureux de partager avec vous cette nouvelle interview de Vaynerchuk qui était de passage à Cannes. C'est de la pure folie, vous allez adorer, c'est parti. Hi, this is the Ask Gary V show here in Cannes with my great friend Gary
Vaynerchuk. Sorry, Lisa. I know you're having a very important business call and we're like screwing it up, but this is what happens at Cannes. So.
Oh, so sorry. You're Cannes again.
Yes.
And you want to talk about family business. What can you do about it?
Very good observation. A couple hours ago, I tweeted that I want to put out more content about family businesses because Emily and I were just discussing. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to talk about family businesses because I think a lot of people are struggling with them. You know, a lot of people are in them. They're so remarkable because people love their family. They're so difficult because people love their family. And so as somebody who's built two big businesses with family, both my dad and my brother, and we still love each other more than breathing, and they were successful, I'm trying to figure out, like, in a lot of ways over the last 5 years, I've been analyzing myself with the hope of trying to help people and even, you know, scratch the itch of getting it out of me and then also helping people out there. I don't have full answers yet. You know, I want to start the challenge of being interviewed. To me, the reason I want to put this out there is that people come back with meaningful questions. But a couple things I can tell you. Number one, whoever is the more talented, bigger executor will definitely need to have empathy and humility to make it successful. I think no question one of the reasons I've been able to make it work is I don't value money over my family. And if I did,
it's really important.
Both companies would have failed.
Yeah, because money is not a value, to be honest.
Well, money is a value for a lot of people, and I'll tell you where I wasn't worried about. I'll give you an example. I'll be very self-honest right now. I didn't care about the money between me and my dad and me and my brother. I cared that they both knew that I was the bigger driver of the money. So it was respect more than money. I think for my dad, that was a competitive thing and created more friction. I think my brother was very smart and
he knows who runs things.
But you know, it was less that. He just is he's a respectful, like, my brother's competitive, but he's, you know, listen, it might have been easier for my brother. I'm his older brother. For my dad, you know, I don't know if that, you know, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm not so sold if I start a business with Misha and she's the bigger and she's the bigger driver of the business.
Maybe you will be not very happy about it.
And I will say it on the record now. I know I won't be very happy because I know that I'm more similar to my dad in this, where my competitive juices, I would struggle with that. Anyway, nonetheless, there's a lot to unpack. What happens during the evolution? What happens when you start out as something and it evolves? How do you actually communicate to somebody you love? Who values money? Who values respect? Who wants outside fame? Who wants inside fame?
I think the big question is, if there is a big problem and you need to manage it with your family, it's so much harder maybe, isn't it?
Of course it's harder. And I know D-Rock's very upset right now because he's trying to collect content, but my friend over here has it all, D-Rock, so get it from him. I would say that the problem is, it's more about self-awareness. It's what is the problem. It's not about the problem. It's what is the problem. So if the problem is money and I don't care about money, easy problem. Yeah. If the problem is the New York Times said I was the founder, not co-founder, and I care about respect and so do you, now you got it's what's the problem. So what has to happen is the family members have to be honest each other about what's happening here. The bigger problem is generational autonomy. What Emily pointed out was like, hey, you never talk about, I worked in my dad's liquor store for 14 years. By the time I was 22, I had built the reputation and respect that allowed my dad to give me full autonomy. I wouldn't have been successful at Wine Library if my dad didn't give me full autonomy. I would have not done it. I've always, in my entire 20 years of now running businesses, have had 100% say. And my dad probably had 2 or 3% say, and that felt like 100, especially for a kid. And so, you know, look, I mean, AJ very smartly from day one said, look, we're running this together, but if there is a problem, it's your call. And so that gave me the freedom.
So it's direct, it's precise, everything is all right. At the beginning, you need to say, okay, this part is for you, this part is for you, for example.
And both entities bullshit. parents bullshit and say, kid, I'm going to give you all the freedom, then stuff happens and they don't, then the kid gets upset. Kids want all the freedom without earning it. Just because you're the kid, did you earn it? People email me all the time, Gary, how did you get your dad to let you have freedom? I'm in my business now a year, it sucks. Yeah, but I took it out of results.
Of course.
You know, you haven't worked in your family business. You were a student and enjoyed the fruits of the family business. You traveled and backpacked through Europe. They paid for your fucking unlimited Uber. You had a great life. Now you're 22.
And you didn't do anything.
You didn't do shit. Now you walk into the business and you want full autonomy? Fuck you. Why don't you eat shit for 5 years, learn the business, get respect of the coworkers, and maybe at 27 you can fucking have control. These fucking kids on the other side of the camera, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that they have to eat shit for 7 years, and then at 29, maybe, they've earned the respect of grandpa, grandma, mom, dad, and more importantly, the other 49 employees that have to respect it. Just because your last name's Smith and it's Smith cough drops, fuck you, entitlement dick. So it works both ways. Everybody thinks it's the parents' fault. It's not the parents' fault. If your kid sucks, you can't pass the baton. If the kid hasn't proved it yet, you can't pass the baton. If you have 35 executives that help you build the business, you have to respect them. Junior just can't come in. She can't just run shit. So there's a lot to unpack in family businesses.
Yeah, definitely. My wife runs a business too,
Yes.
so I know sometimes, but we don't have too much problems, so it's cool.
Because the framework works, and a lot of times
Probably.
it does work, but like you have to dissect why the framework, and the reality is 98% of the people do struggle with family businesses, and I'm ambitious in 2019 and the second half of 2018 to make it a pillar of my content, and I got to figure it out, because what has made me successful and what would make so many more people successful around content is speaking the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is, I've spent 20 years running family businesses, so I have a lot to say. I now have to challenge myself to figure out the depths, not just the surface level. That's what today's about.
Yeah, you need to explain and to say, okay, this
And
is the
ask
problem.
questions
Yeah.
and listen and watch and read. D-Rock's going to clip you're 27, you're mad at your parents, but should you be? Question mark. That's the piece of content I want him to make. And that little 2-minute rant's going to come to that. And a 26-year-old's going to be like, wait a minute, he's right. Like, I'm so pissed at the entitlement of the kid. You backpack through Europe on your business's dime. Those executives built that business with your family. Even if those executives are 6 cashiers, you have to respect that. Yeah. You don't get to walk in and say your fucking last name is Smith. You haven't done anything. The reason I got to walk in is I worked every fucking weekend and holiday and built the .com and grew sales and was a better salesman than everybody and fucking worked 15 hours a day and ate shit and bagged ice and carried things and cleaned shelves and worked in the trenches with you. Then they looked at me and said, respect. He's earned the potential to lead this.
Last question. You always talk about impatience, and you're right about it, because a lot of people are impatient. They want everything too quickly.
Yes.
What's your last thought about it?
The lack of patience is the #1 vulnerability in society. That and a lack of self-awareness. You fix those two things. You figure out who you actually are, and you play the long game, you will win every time. Problem is, most people don't have that discipline, and most people don't want to face the facts of their shortcomings. I think your shortcomings are attractive. I love my shortcomings because without them, I wouldn't have strengths. And most of all, I don't give a fuck about people judging my shortcomings. That framework is the foundation of my success.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you, my friend.
Have a good day, good week. Et voilà, on était avec Gary V sur cette magnifique et belle plage de la Croisette, comme vous pouvez le voir. Et je voulais vous dire une chose extrêmement importante qu'il ne faut surtout jamais oublier. Il n'y a jamais eu de meilleur moment que maintenant pour entreprendre. Merci et à la semaine prochaine.